Buenos días, buenas tardes, y buenas noches. Bonjour, bonsoir. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. Monday, May 4th, third video of the day. Chosen background is that very disturbing photo of Jay, apparently in the back of the car on the way up to Masca, looking to me lifeless and not much like Jay, not as we've seen him in other photos. But it's not actually the photo that I want to dwell on because this video is the phone saga part 3, the never-ending saga of questions we have about Jay's use of his phone, his phones, others' use of his phone, of his phones, and it seems never-ending. But thanks to our very alert and contributing audience, more and more questions are now coming in about Jay's use of phone. As you well know, I am far, far from being any kind of phone expert, but in a way that kind of helps because I approach these questions from in Latin, a tabula rasa. I'm a blank slate. I have no information at all. I'm quite happy to ask questions in ignorance that others maybe wouldn't ask. And I'm quite happy to look up answers. This one isn't the first point I'm going to make is not a technical one. The first point I'm going to make with this photo here, Jay in the back of the car, is who took that photo and why? Who took that photo and why? Now, the narrative tells us there are three people in that car. Ayub Kassim, driving. Stephen Fortes Rocas, passenger seat, front passenger seat, Jay in the back. That's the narrative. No one else in that car. Now, if Ayub is driving, that leaves two people that could have taken that photo. Rocky or Jay. Why would Rocky take that photo? As far as I can tell, Rocky and Jay really are not friends, not even acquaintances. It seems like Ayub knows Jay through Brandon somewhat, a little bit. It seems to me like Rocky doesn't really know anyone apart from Ayub and maybe a few guys at the AU club. So I can't figure out why during this car journey up from the strip to Masca, Rocky would turn around and take a photo of Jay. I just don't see why he would do that. Um, do we know where this photo came from? Was this on Jay's phone? Was it on Ayub's phone? Well, Ayub's driving. Um, if this is on Jay's phone, then Jay took it. It's a selfie, but it's a very weird selfie in my book. I mean, previous pictures of Jay, Sugar Reef, dancing with a Henny bottle, looking kind of happy. Um, are there any other selfies? I don't know. Jay at the pool party, I don't think he's taking his own photo there, but he doesn't look like this. Few minutes after this, and it really is a few minutes after this photo, according to the narrative, we have another picture of Jay looking completely different, still in the back of the car with his glasses. Are they up on his head? Um, and he's looking fresh faced, beaming, smiling, like he's just got up ready to start a new day. This one taken like 10 minutes before, maybe 15 minutes before, he looks half dead. Why the glasses on at night? Because when he gets up to Damascus, the glasses are off. Um, if that's a selfie, what was the aim of the selfie? Is it just to accompany this message? Yes, cuz, um, and all the rest of it. It looks to me like it's the kind of proof of life, proof of presence, proof of existence photo that someone else would take to show the world that here's Jay. To me, but as I say, I don't use phones, I don't take pics. It doesn't look like a photo Jay would take of himself for any reason. So who took that photo and why? Um, when Jay, Rocky, and Ayub get to the Airbnb, Rocky's asleep, apparently. Now, we're told that Ayub gets out and Jay gets out. But initially, Ayub gets out and takes a photo of Jay and Rocky together in the car. Right? Rocky asleep and Jay looking happy and smiling in the back seat. Why is Jay staying sat in that back seat just to get in the photo or the video of Ayub filming Rocky? I guess what I'm saying is once that car is parked and Ayub gets out, doesn't Jay get out right behind him? Why is Jay sat there? Ayub's out filming and Jay just sits there grinning. Does Jay want to be in the background of that video with Rocky sleeping? Why doesn't Jay want to get out and do what Ayub's doing and film Rocky asleep? As I say, I don't do this kind of stuff, but from what I've seen, when there is something very funny going on, or even kind of funny going on, and one person starts filming it, what I've seen is everyone starts filming it. They all want to capture this moment. This one's a bit strange because I'll go through it again. Car parks. Ayub, I think he said he started filming when he was in the car. And then Ayub gets out, still filming, but Jay stays in the car and appears in that what looks like a Photoshop picture in the back of the car. Ayub still now walks around to the front of the car, still filming. At some point, Jay gets out of that car and follows Ayub around, but doesn't get his own phone out to take a picture or film Rocky. Because if he did, that would have shown up on his phone and DCI Higson would have found it in her forensic report, I would have thought. We have questions about that as well, because DCI Higson, I don't think, mentioned anything about photos. But if she did a digital forensic examination, she would have found, I would have thought, the photos, even if those photos had been taken and then deleted. I don't know, but I would imagine a forensic expert would have found evidence that the camera had been on and taken something, subsequently deleted. Which, by the way, reminds me, again, if Jay had used his own phone, this is what one contributor mentioned, so this is not an original idea. I'm just saying, if Jay had used his own phone to take a photo of the knives down his pants, as Mark Williams Thomas and Josh Forshaw agreed, then what happened to that photo? I know that photo was sent from Jay's phone to Josh's phone, and then Josh took it to the UK police, but they managed to delete it, and so that pic is gone. But it shouldn't be gone from Jay's phone, should it? That pic should still be in Jay's phone when Guardia Civil, when Debbie, when DCI Higson all look at it. It should still be there. Unless I got this wrong, and when you send a pic, there is some kind of mechanism by which unless you save it, it just disappears. I don't think so. It should just be there. And if it is there, or even if it isn't there, why in the inquest did Adderley not ask DCI Higson, by the way, this picture that Josh Forshaw claimed had Jay with knives down the pants. Did you see that when you forensically examined the phone? Yes or no? I mean, Adderley was so concerned that Josh Forshaw wasn't telling the truth, he absolutely demanded that Josh Forshaw during lunch break go back and make sure that the phrase 10 quid meant £10,000. He was Adderley was very concerned about that. But when it comes to what I would consider really key evidence that Jay was feeling threatened, a photo with knives down the pants, DCI Higson surely would have seen it. Adderley suddenly is not concerned. Is it the case he's dealt with Josh Forshaw? He doesn't really want to find out if that photo existed. He just wanted to prove Josh Forshaw wasn't telling the truth and move on. But wouldn't that be lingering in your head if you were a neutral observer? Think, oh, hang on, DCI Higson, you looked at the phone. Did you see any photos of Jay with knives down his pants? That question never popped up. Yeah, so there we have Ayub doing the video. Jay's next to him, and they're laughing and joking and commenting about looks like he took a headshot, yeah, through the window. And I just find it hard to believe that Jay at that point isn't tempted to get his phone out just to have a pic, just to do what Ayub's doing. In my experience, that's what people do. They all have a quick pic or photo of the moment. But no. Jay decides that's not worth taking. One last point before I wrap up. Well, I think I'll wrap up Phone Saga with part 4, but to end part 3 here, getting back to the listen, I'm not going to make it bogus message. I think it's bogus. I just can't see how that could have been written. It is a weird message. It is a weird message. I mean, we're expected to believe that Jay is stumbling through this cactus-filled wilderness nightmare. And in order for him to say, listen, I'm not going to make it, Jay must be able to foresee that the Grim Reaper, if you like, is on the horizon, right? He can see that death is approaching. And that message tells us that Jay is, I guess, determined to make that happen. I don't know. Why doesn't Jay just stop when he realizes the Grim Reaper is out there about to claim him? Why doesn't he just stop? Stop going towards the Grim Reaper. Listen, if I continue like this, I'm not going to make it, so I'm just going to stop. Wait for someone to find me. That message tells us 3 things. That Jay was just, if we're to believe it, Jay was determined to march on until the Grim Reaper claimed his life. It also tells us that as a last message, it's his friend Brad that deserves that last message, not Debbie, not M, not Dad, not Zach, but Brad. Good old Brad deserves the last message. It also tells us that punctuation was of extreme importance to Jay in that last message. None of it makes sense. But getting back to that last snap, listen, I'm not going to make it. How is it, all of you that understand phones and how they work, how is it that the only snap or only text, only message that comes into existence is that one outgoing message from Jay to Brad? Because at the moment that Jay's phone dies, his friends, be it Brad, Brandon, anyone back home in Lancashire, Josh, none of them knows at the moment Jay's phone dies that Jay's phone has died. They don't know that. So you would have thought that there would be quite a flurry of incoming messages from all kinds of people. Jay's phone dies at 8:51 a.m. You'd have thought for the next hour there'd be a whole flurry of messages, texts, pics, God knows what else, flying around out there, as Debbie says, in the ether somewhere, in hyperspace. These things from different people that have been sent. But Jay's phone is dead, so they can't be received. But they're out there somewhere. So logically, to my brain, my ignorant brain to do with phones, when eventually Debbie turns Jay's phone on, not only would that one outgoing message appear, but about 100 different text messages and stuff incoming should appear. Why don't they? If we just take the example of the snap, for the sake of argument, let's assume Brad, who didn't know exactly when Jay's phone died, sent a snap, a message by Snapchat. Well, to my mind, if Jay's snap can be stored, I mean, he's pressed send, but there's no Wi-Fi, so it doesn't get sent. But apparently it then gets sent when the Wi-Fi is reconnected months later and arrives on Brad's phone. Well, wouldn't the same apply the other way around? Anything that Brad had sent when Jay's phone was off and not connected to the Wi-Fi, it would, once Jay's phone is connected to the Wi-Fi, get that incoming message from Brad, from anyone. So those of you that do understand phones, don't go into the technical jargon. I won't understand it. But in plain, simple layman English, explain how one snap can be lost somewhere out there flying around, as Debbie says, but then appear on Brad's phone. But it can't work the other way around. Nothing when Debbie turns on Jay's phone can be incoming for DCI Higson to find when she does her forensic examination. Or perhaps, is this where there's a flood of incoming messages? And when DCI Higson said in between the moment the Spanish police handed that phone back to Debbie and the moment DCI Higson went in and did her forensic examination, in between there, she said there's evidence of data being overwritten. Could it be that that flood of incoming messages was what was overwritten for whatever reason? Either the phone doing it itself, updates or something, or more sinister, someone deciding that that flood of incoming messages had to all go. You know, whatever it took. Can't have anyone reading those, whatever they say. Almost certainly I've missed something very basic here, but in my very infantile mind when it comes to phone technology, I just don't understand how the one outgoing snap after months arrives at its destination, but anything that surely would have been sent after 8:51 when Jay's phone is connected doesn't make it. Nothing incoming. Strange world. Anyway, there's one last major point that I need to make in PhoneGate saga here, parts 1, 2, and 3. This is the end of 3, part 4 at some point, and then hopefully we can wrap it up. There's so much more happening in Tenerife that I need to turn to. But this phone thing is crucial. I do think, one last thing, I've said that I think eventually the crooks will be caught out for the reason of the screenshot of Jay's last known location and then none of them going there. Eventually, the reasons why none of them went to Jay is going to break this case open. I don't know when that'll happen. We need some kind of renegade, some kind of confession from one person that, hey, it didn't happen the way you've been told. But eventually, I think the evidence from those screenshots showing Jay's location and the friend's not going there, that'll be a stumbling block in this case. I think the other one is this listen, I'm not going to make it thing. I think at the end of the day, whenever this case does get resolved, whenever that will be, we will find that whoever's behind this big idea of listen, I'm not going to make it, whether it be someone in West Wales, whether it be someone in the real estate business in Tenerife, whoever's behind this, I think will be caught out by that snap that I don't think is real. Just a prediction. We'll see what happens. All right. Hasta luego. Hasta más tarde. Adios. See you next time.